Welcome to Latte with a Lawyer, a podcast dedicated to bringing you the stories of some of America's most successful lawyers, figuring out what makes them tick, how they creatively solve problems, and how others aspiring to be them can follow in their footsteps.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Latte with a Lawyer. This morning we have with us Verne Pedro from the law firm of Fullerton Beck in New Jersey. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, absolutely. Good to have you. Just to kick things off and with the theme of the show, Latte with a Lawyer, what's your morning beverage of choice to get going?
My morning beverage of choice is the black coffee, jet fuel. My wife is my favorite barista. You know, we tend to pick up coffee either from Starbucks or an Italian specialty shop that we like, and we grind our own beans. So that's my go-to juice in the morning.
Oh, good stuff. Good stuff. It looks like I was doing some research. You're a New Jersey guy. It looks like you spent your whole life there.
For the most part, I grew up in a military family, so we traveled around a lot. My father retired in early 70s here in Jersey and been here ever since.
Okay. What town? I lived in Montclair for about a year at one point.
Okay. Yeah, I grew up in Tinton Falls, which is Monmouth County, and I'm down in Ocean County now, down in Little Egg Harbor.
Where is that? So that's south? Is that south?
That's south. I'm about a half hour or so away from Atlantic City.
Oh, okay. Very good. What is Atlantic City like these days?
You know, it's obviously the casino life is coming back.
Okay.
They're trying to get some new clubs and the like going in kind of off the boardwalk. So it's trying to come back after COVID. I think that kind of hit that particular hospitality industry, extremely hard, but things are coming back.
Oh yeah. No, I remember going there as a kid, like one summer trying to get a summer job there. And it was, I mean, it's gone through different sort of stages, but has it expanded the development off the boardwalk?
Somewhat, yeah, somewhat.
Yeah,
it has. Yeah,
yeah.
I was there. I took my parents down last year, and they had just so happened it coincided with fish playing on the beach that day. So the town was just packed with fish / Grateful Dead fans, and it was a good time.
Oh, nice, excellent, good stuff. Well, I live in South Florida now, so I'm many moons away from that place. Anyway, so tell us about the kind of work you do, your law practice.
Sure. I've been for 20 plus years an insurance coverage litigation attorney. That's been my focus, and from literally from day one, and still is today.
Okay.
So I handle all different types of insurance disputes, everything from commercial general liability to property damage, to there's new emerging cyber issues that I've been recently handling. That's on the coverage side. On the liability side, I also litigate products liability cases, premises actions, transportation cases, kind of that whole mixed bag of general liability type of defense work.
Okay. And you work on behalf of the insurance companies?
I do now. I started off representing insurance companies. Actually, while I was in law school, I worked for an insurance company. Got out of law school, worked on the defense side, had an opportunity during the Superstorm Sandy years to represent policyholders in some of those catastrophic property damage cases, which I did for several years, and now I've transitioned back to the defense world.
Oh, I see. Okay. Do you like the defense side better than the plaintiff side?
They both have their, it's two sides of the kind of the same coin, really. Right. I enjoyed prosecuting on behalf of policyholders and advocating for folks who really needed the help at the time that they needed it. But I think just given the nature of my coverage background, I think working on the insurer's behalf kind of is a more natural fit for me.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. And do you when you litigate these cases, right? But you go to jury trial?
Most of the cases are queued up for jury trials. There's not a lot of them. Obviously, sure. COVID put a damper on that, although the courts are starting to change that, and they're coming back on a hybrid kind of a basis. But the coverage world I have not seen a lot of trial work over the years. There's been a few cases that have gone to trial, and obviously the liability cases are always queued up for trial.
Okay. I mean, is that something you would enjoy? I mean, most people that litigate, they want to be in the courtroom, right, and try a case.
Sure. You know, I did have an opportunity to try a case through verdict several years ago. That was fantastic. It was a great experience. I had a really good time. I welcomed the opportunity to do that again. And actually, I have 2 on the calendar for this fall. So we'll see where those.
Oh, you do? Okay, good. What kind of cases are those?
Those are both premises liability cases.
Yeah,
Actually,
premises liability is interesting to me.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. You know, it's kind of a set body of law, but the facts are so detailed and nuanced that that's really where the presentation comes in, and you know, to roll that out for the jury.
Yeah, I mean, since I've been talking to a lot of lawyers, and I'm not a lawyer, you know, learning about that, I didn't realize the kind of exposure you have.
Absolutely. The injuries can be something rather benign, or they can be something, you know, quite catastrophic, depending on the, you know, again, the facts and circumstances of what exactly happened. Absolutely.
Yeah. So how do you, something happens on your property. I mean, it seems like there's a lot of sort of risk management that you have to pay attention to. Otherwise,
absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about just something like a you know, a restaurant or something like that, where they know there's going to be a lot of traffic from customers, and obviously there are all different types of things that could go wrong in a restaurant, whether something is spilled, another patron drops something, to something actually happening with the structure of the building itself, the furniture. You know, any one of those aspects could cause some sort of
just in the parking lot too, right? Not even
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So so what kind of insurance do you have to carry to protect yourself? And as a litigator, are there caps as a tort reform around the exposure that you might have?
Not in Jersey. There's no particular tort reform that would cap that liability. So on the insurance side, really, you know, just as a basic, you'd want to make sure you've got a general liability policy that's going to protect third-party claims for bodily injury or property damage. There may be other potential exposures depending on the, you know, the operation involved, but at a minimum, you'd want to make sure you've got general liability, you know, $1 million or more on limits, definitely some sort of excess policy if necessary, again, depending on the operation, size of the business, and then again, those potential exposures.
Yeah, so so again, as on the defense side with no caps, right? You're trying to protect against these big verdicts that could happen, right?
Correct. So from day one, we're looking at it as, you know, obviously what happened, what didn't happen, is there surveillance, are there witnesses, what was actually happening at the time, what was the plaintiff doing at the time, you know, from a contributory negligence standpoint, and really trying to drill down as early as possible on all of those particular factors, keeping in line that, you know, the law hasn't really changed, right? What the factors need to be proven are really going to be the same. You need, you know, the property owner has a duty to those people that are on the premises, whether they're business invitees or guests in a home or something like that. That's really where it all begins. You know, what's my duty to the particular person that's on the premises, and have I dispatched my duty as a reasonable property owner to keep them safe? So within that kind of framework, making sure that we can answer those questions, right? What was the property owner doing to maintain the property? What were they doing at the time? What do they do as a general course of business? You know, all of those factors kind of fall into place.
Yeah. Have you had any that were sort of gone the wrong direction? You've had a lot of exposure that your client got, you know, that you lost, I guess, in a settlement or trial?
I mean, we recently settled one, just because the video just showed that there was, you know, it was just one of those circumstances where kind of things happen, to clean that up a little. Sometimes things just happen. And in New Jersey, we have what they call a mode of operation rule. So if you have a salad bar or a self-serve dispenser for drinks or something like that, there's the implication is that that if something that falls from that particular operation, something that flows from that operation causes the accident, it lessens the plaintiff's burden to prove that there was negligence. So we had one of those situations involving what appeared to be a spilled drink or something on the floor. Plaintiff went down. There were really no clear defenses in that case, so the recommendation there was to settle.
It's almost like, now that we're kind of on this tangent, I'm just thinking, I'm guessing that many business owners probably don't think through it as carefully as they should, right, when they're operating these properties. I know everyone gets insurance, but they're not really thinking through all the
you get in a groove of your day-to-day operating a business without, you might think of the general scope of risk, but not necessarily thinking of kind of 8 out of 10 particular circumstances that could arise out of whatever it is that the business is. Absolutely.
So is that something that someone like you would do with a business to try to preemptively manage some of those potential things that could
things have come up where recommendations can be made, especially in light, in hindsight of a particular suit, but I don't really go in as a preemptive measure and do that scope. That's usually, you may find, again, you mentioned risk management. That's something that the risk managers might do with their insurance carriers, or they
insurance would cover
experts to do kind of a survey of the property, and do that kind of thing up front as the policies are being negotiated and underwritten. That's usually when those types of things kind of happen.
I see.
And of course, adjustments can be made along the way, but that's usually when that really full risk assessment gets done.
Got it. Well, given that you work in insurance, I'm sure you have a broader perspective about how to handle these things too, I would imagine, than others.
Correct. Yeah. So I've seen it kind of from the pure interpretive policy aspect of it, as well as the kind of the nuts and bolts, how these cases get defended on the other end.
Interesting. So tell me about the journey for you to become a lawyer. Like, how did that happen, and when did you decide you wanted to become a lawyer?
My interest in getting into law really evolved over time. I started off as an English major, thinking I was going to teach English. Got a few years into my undergrad degree and ended up taking some time off that turned into a almost 12-year stint in the auto business. During that time, I met my wife, who kind of encouraged me to go back and finish school. And during that time, I realized that, probably teaching really wasn't for me, although my love of language, everything just kind of seemed like law was a natural fit, and some family members made that recommendation. And here I am all these years later. So it worked out to be the right thing.
Oh, good. Yeah.
But definitely a broken path to get here.
Well, most people have kind of a crooked path to where they end up, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Anyone else in your family? Lawyers?
No one else in my family is in the legal field now. My mother is an educator. She was a teacher, and then went into retail management for several years. My father, I mentioned, was an officer in the Air Force. So definitely the strong education background, but not on the legal side.
Got it. No, interesting. Always interested to see how people make that decision to go to law school. I've heard many different stories.
Yes. Like I said, it came about after kind of doing a lot of other things that were definitely not as rewarding. So, kind of along the way, you realize, okay, I'm doing this now, but do I want to do this 10 years from now? How am I really going to shape my career? So.
Got it. And you work at a pretty large law firm. I was looking at it, right? How many lawyers do you have at the firm?
There's about 30 at the firm right now.
Okay.
We're still growing, which is
still growing. And where's it headquartered?
The headquarters is in White Plains, New York,
Oh, okay.
and my office is in Red Bank, New Jersey.
Oh, very good. And is most of the business focused on insurance defense?
It is in various practice areas. There's malpractice, construction, general liability. We have a strong appellate group, and I'm building out the insurance coverage practice and errors and omissions practice here in New Jersey as well.
Okay, good, excellent, good stuff. And the pandemic, I mean, how did that change? Did you become more distributed and use more technology to keep going?
Well, yeah, I mean, I will tell you, I was hired about a week or so before the lockdown.
Oh, okay.
Which was, a little nerve-wracking going into, hearing the horror stories of law firms laying people off in droves right around that time. A lot of businesses, getting shut down, things slowing down. Thankfully, we experienced an uptick in work and growth during that period of time. But to your point, you're right. The technology was invaluable during that point. Being able to work from anywhere. The courts, once they started getting kind of online with it, doing the video court appearances, depositions going forward by video and the like. It really, technology, I think, streamlined the practice during COVID and really showed the strength of technology that can be used to really, buttress the practice.
Yeah. Do you use focus groups or mock trials for any of the casework?
I have not yet, although to that point, one of my former colleagues from when I worked in the insurance industry is she's a psychologist by training as well as a lawyer. And one of the things that she does is offer kind of a psychological perspective on litigation and trial work and mock trials and the like. So she would be my go-to person when a mock trial becomes necessary.
Oh, very good. Excellent. Good. Yeah, it's good stuff. Now, I was just curious to know. I'm always interested. I talk to a lot of plaintiff attorneys, but as you said, rightfully so. It's the same coin, just another side of the same coin.
Yep.
Whereas the plaintiff side tends to use a lot of these tools to prepare for litigation in the event that it goes to trial. And I see less so on the defense side, right?
Correct. I think that's right. And there's probably a couple of reasons for that. I mean, one, for the policyholder side, I know it's definitely when I was doing it, they're contingency cases. So you're all in as a plaintiff lawyer. So you want to kind of use every resource at your disposal, everything in your arsenal to make sure you're going to get the return on your investment for the case. Yep. So, I definitely see that as a clear factor as to why they would probably lean more towards that than the defense side. Although I have dealt with attorneys who do different types of cases who have the defense side, who also believe strongly in the mock trial, whether it's internally within the firm. I've seen commercial cases that get done that way, intellectual property cases. I have seen that during the course of my career on both sides. And again, it's different types of cases, not necessarily just the kind of the personal injury world, but some of the other practice areas as well rely a little more heavily on that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, I know the big thing in insurance defense, right, is the nuclear verdict, right? You want to make sure. So I would think that would be a reason to really jump in early and try to test, where this thing's going to go, and use all of the tools to help you get there quickly.
Correct. And it's a scale, right? If you've got a case that's, like you said, the potential for a nuclear verdict, something that is just, kind of an off the charts type of a consideration right from the beginning, you're going to probably want to factor that into your case preparation. Some of the smaller cases, you might be able to, roundtable them internally within the firm, or, potentially have someone, kind of do a mini mock trial, so to speak, without necessarily having to invest in the resources for an outside vendor to provide that service.
Got it. Okay, interesting. So what would your advice be today for someone who's thinking about going into law? What would you tell them?
I would tell them to do it. I think it's a fantastic career. I've had just a lot of fun. It can be, it can be fun, challenging, and rewarding all at the same time. And not everybody say that about, every particular profession or job. I would advise, to appreciate the fact that it's a nose to the grindstone kind of industry. Just by definition, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Law school is a grind, the practice can be a grind, but again, that doesn't mean that it can't be fun, challenging, and rewarding. So I would advise somebody, if they're really strongly considering it, to take the plunge, do your due diligence, figure out where you want to go to school, what practice areas you might be interested in, something that fits your personality, because that's really where it's going to be the most rewarding on the back end.
Right.
Is it, are you a corporate minded person? Do you want to be in the courtroom? And I've seen people switch, where they thought they wanted to litigate and ultimately did some transactional work, and that became their niche. So it's really kind of what fits your personality. And then the other thing I tell people, one, about law school itself, and then practice generally, is it's about people, right? We're out here dealing with people. The judge is an audience. The Fortune 500 company you're representing, they're all people. It's really just about people and those relationships ultimately. And that's really, I think, the rub of it, that isn't always an easy takeaway from law school.
Yeah. Well, the transit, I've heard a lot of people, what you learn in the classroom doesn't translate completely to the real world, right?
Correct.
Right.
Yeah, you get the theory, you learn how to think, and then, for me, I tell people, a lot of the stuff that we did over those, I went evenings in law school, so I was there for 4 years. A lot of the stuff that we dealt with as a student didn't really gel until I was, one, studying for the bar, and then two, once I got that first job and really kind of got out.
Yeah.
And got my feet wet. I did have the advantage of working for an insurance company during law school, dealing with lawyers day in and day out, thankfully.
Oh, so you did it at night. I didn't realize that. Okay, so you which is really tough.
Yeah, I didn't. Again, nose to the grindstone.
Oh, yeah. So you have a lot of grit. You have a lot of grit. I would assume is a quality you need to have to be good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but so I dealt with a lot of really smart lawyers, innovative thinkers, and learned a lot about the practice. Kind of as I was learning it theoretically, I got a chance to see it from a practical perspective as well. So that helped quite a bit.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I'm a big believer in sort of like on the job, learning, and there's some, there's the theory, and then there's like in practice. I mean, I think a lot of people do better actually in the trenches, right, as opposed to in the books to really figure things out.
And then sometimes the balance is necessary, but you're right. Yeah, you really, it's one of those things where you kind of learn as you're in it. You realize, you've got the foundation, and now it's a matter of putting all those pieces in place.
Got it. All right, good stuff. Well, it looks like you found your place in life, and
absolutely.
And
I did.
Good, excellent, good stuff. All right, well, listen, I will I'll wrap this up here for now. Just sort of final words. What do you want people to know about you and your firm, and what's the best way for them to connect with you?
Sure. Well, again, Fullerton Beck, we're a full service defense firm. It's a women-owned firm. The two main partners are obviously both women. Strong belief in a diversity-based, really diverse firm, strong litigation practice. If we can be of service, we can be reached, obviously through the website. My number directly is 732-995-9495. My practice primarily, again, insurance coverage, litigation, as well as some other defense-based practice. And we're here to serve.
Excellent, good stuff. Well, listen, it's been a pleasure to have you. This is, again, Verne Pedro from the law firm of Fullerton Beck. And this show is sponsored by EmotionTrac, and we're a legal tech platform that helps litigators do case prep. We capture hidden insights through our platform for people to prepare for trial. So thank you very much, Verne. It's been a pleasure spending time with you.
Thanks a lot.
Be back.
Good talking to you. Have a good day.